Welcome back to the Jon Krawczynski Show. You can find this on YouTube and at talknorth.com or on your favorite podcast app. Thank you for listening. We are coming to you from the Aquarius Home Services studio.
Scott for Aquarius, your authorized independent Connecticut dealer. What if your water was so amazing you literally bragged to strangers? With Connecticut, enjoy softer skin and hair, dishes and fixtures that shine like the sun, ice that sparkles like diamonds, and worry-free drinking water. All of this, plus 36 months, 0% financing. Schedule your free water analysis at AquariusHomeservices.com. Financing based on credit approval. Aquarius, earning the right to be recommended.
Hey, this is Randy Shaver. Along with Kevin Gorg, we host the show Fantasy Huddle on Talk North. Each week, we're going to break down the matchups for the NFL season and try to give you the best chance to win your fantasy football games each and every week. Join us for Fantasy Huddle on Talk North.
He's Jon Krawczynski from The Athletic. I'm Jim Suhan from the Star Tribune and TalkNorth.com. We want to let you know we are presented to you by Lexus of Wayzata and Maplewood. We'll tell you more about them and our other sponsors here in a little bit. John is in New York, just watched a very bad Brooklyn team lose to the Wolves, and we have a little bit better game on tap. Get to revisit Karl Anthony Towns. Before we get to all the Wolves issues, how are the Knicks playing and how is Cat playing at the moment?
Yeah, they've been good, not great yet. And I think that from afar and observing and just kind of watching some of the coverage and stuff, I do think that there have been some angsty moments early on here as they transition away from Tom Thibodeau to Mike Brown as the head coach. I think that Karl Anthony Towns has been kind of open about the work in progress that it's been to figure out his role in this offense and how they're going. They have a ton of talent, but they haven't really coalesced yet. I think they're playing a little bit better than the Timberwolves have to start this season, but they're both kind of similar in terms of two teams coming off of Eastern or conference finals runs that may be expected to be a little bit more locked in at the start of the season than they have been. And so it'll be interesting to go in there on Wednesday night and really feel kind of some of the vibes around that team and see how they look in person.
The Knicks have been very good at home so far this season, and Cat's coming off a big game, so that'll be fun. Now, give us an Anthony Edwards injury update.
Yeah, so we're recording this Tuesday morning. Monday, the team issued a press release on his reevaluation from that hamstring injury. They said that he's been cleared for full contact and for basketball activities, and that is a great sign because when we were first reported when he was injured that it was going to be about 2 weeks before he could come back and play in a game, but he's going to practice today. The Timberwolves practice in New York on Tuesday and really test that hamstring out. And I think if all things look good, I think you're looking at a return sooner rather than later. I wouldn't even rule out at this point him playing on Wednesday against the Knicks. I don't know that that's going to happen. But they may still give it a few more days just to kind of make sure that they don't push a soft tissue injury a little too quickly. But everything that I've heard behind the scenes is that he's recovered really nicely, that he's working toward a return sooner than later. And whether that's Wednesday, whether that's, in the upcoming weekend as they come home, we'll see. But his return is very, very close, assuming that everything goes well in practice on Tuesday.
One of the best things about him is he doesn't want to miss games.
No, yeah, he wants to play. He has a bit of Wolverine in him where he just seems to heal quicker than others. He's young. But you can tell that when he is on the sideline, he is kind of bursting at the seams, trying to get in there, trying to see how he can help his team. I mean, watching them really kind of fall flat against Denver and the Lakers, prior to, in his first 2 games of his absence, I think was really hard on him. So, how he comes back will be interesting to see if he picked up anything a little extra. But he hates missing games. He does not miss them historically. And I know he's chomping at the bit to get back out there.
Chris Finch the other day said something about, one thing you miss without Anthony Edwards around, I'm paraphrasing here, is you don't have quite the same swagger. Julius Randle has played great with Anthony out. But the feeling, I guess what Finch is saying, is there is a superstar effect when you have that guy on the court that you can't replicate.
Absolutely. And especially on this team, Jim, where, you look at Julius Randle, Mike Conley, Rudy Gobert, Jaden McDaniels, Naz Reid, like they're all very good players, but from an emotional standpoint, they are not fiery guys. They're not overly demonstrative. They're not outsized personalities. And so I do think that this team really craves and benefits from that aspect of Anthony Edwards, just the trash talking, ultra supreme belief in himself, the way that he goes about it with his energy, with all of that. There's a void when he is not there, like let alone the just sheer talent that they're missing on the court. And I do think that's why this Dante DiVincenzo little heater that he's on the last 2 games has been so important, because he's the one other guy in that locker room that has some piss and vinegar to him, that really it is a fiery guy and will get into scrapes and will talk some trash and will sort of like elevate his teammates that way. And so whenever Ant comes back, they're certainly going to love the 27 points that a game that he brings, and the defense that he can bring and all of those things. But I just think that having him back on the court as an emotional, leader, the one who stokes the fires in this team to get them going, is going to be much a welcomed addition to the whole team chemistry.
What's going on DiVincenzo's nose? Or face? Yeah,
man. He took an elbow from Colin Sexton in the game against Charlotte on Saturday. And it was one of those things. He was under the rim. Sexton elevated, comes down, elbow hits his nose, and broke his nose. And, we've seen Rob Dillingham broke his nose, but it does not look like Dante DiVincenzo's broken nose. That thing looks like a question mark. I mean, it really took the brunt of that elbow from Sexton. He's got a big gash across the nose. He looks like, I wrote about it this morning at The Athletic. He looks like Jake LaMotta in Raging Bull. That's just the way that it looks right now. He's got 2 black eyes, and it looks like he's been through a boxing match. And it honestly, Jim, it does fit his persona. This is what he should look like almost. When you think about Dante DiVincenzo and how kind of he's the guy that jumps into the scraps. He's the guy that kind of brings some of the grit and the fire to this team. And so, I don't know, I asked him after the game, in Brooklyn, cause he had 25 points and hit 6 threes. I'm like, hey, did the nose thing, did it straighten out your shooting or what? And he's, are you being funny? And I was like, I kind of am, Dante, but there's something about it that it fits now. He's always been a fighter on the court, and now he looks like one, and he's shooting the heck out of the ball the last couple of games. And that's what they need from him, especially when Edwards is out right now.
Yeah, it's funny knowing so many football players over the years and having played a contact sport myself. I think I always felt like you're not in a game until somebody hits you. And I think DiVincenzo has that mentality.
Absolutely. And the other part about it that I think that his teammates really rallied around was he got hit in the game in the second quarter against Charlotte, nose bleeding all over the place. He goes to the back, throws some gauze up one nostril, and comes back out and plays. And he had no mask. In that game, he played with a mask against Brooklyn, but there was nothing protecting him at all. And he still can't return to the game and jumped back into it and hit some big shots down the stretch. And so I do think that his teammates did get a charge out of that. One of the things that has been missing so far this year early on is where's that edge? Where, this team has been kind of vanilla, kind of blah through the first 4 or 5 games. And you're where's the tenacity? And then he comes out there. He's still got an open wound on his nose, and he's got, the gauze shoved up it, and he's playing and going. I think his teammates looked at that and said, you know what? We better start bringing it a little bit here. And these last 2 games, while not pretty, have been more on, more of gutsy, tough, hard-nosed, no pun intended, wins, which is what they need right now. They got to rediscover some of that edge that has not been there early in the season.
We're going to talk about a lot of players on the roster and what the future holds. But first, tell us about Lexus of Wayzata and Maplewood.
That's right, Jim. If you're in the market for a new luxury vehicle, look no further than our good friend Charlie Swanson at Lexus. Whether you're on the west or the east side of the Twin Cities, they've got you covered with two great locations, Lexus of Wayzata and Lexus of Maplewood. Check out the all-new Lexus TX, a spacious SUV with 3 rows of seating and plenty of room for all your gear. Head over to lexusofwayzata.com or lexusofmaplewood.com for your details and to find your next ride today.
I also want to thank TSR Injury Law. They're going to be, we got a hint that they have a giveaway coming up. Keep your eyes out for that. You'll see it in their socials. We'll talk about it when it becomes official here on this show. TSR Injury Law has been great to us. These are people you like being associated with. The Timberwolves have a great relationship with them. They've worked with Micah Nori. They've worked with Naz Reid. You've seen the billboards. You've seen Steve Terry courtside. So they're working on a giveaway that I think you'll be very interested in. But the important thing is if you're ever injured, just call 612-TSR-TIME, 612-TSR-TIME. They'll take good care of you. They won't charge you unless they win your case, and they win lots of cases. So let's get to the fact that Finch generally has not been happy with the defense this year, and it sounded like I wasn't there. I think you were. It sounded like Jaden McDaniels didn't love having that pointed out.
It didn't seem like it. And it's sometimes hard to tell with Jaden just because of the way that he talks he's just more of a, I don't know how to describe it. He just kind of, he doesn't engage in kind of the pleasantries with the media that all that much. He's a nice guy, but just like, that's not his thing. And so, but when we asked him about Finch kind of after, let's see, the Laker game, I believe it was Lakers or Denver. I can't remember now. It's all running together. But, Finch said, hey, we need more from Rudy Gobert and from Jaden McDaniels, our 2 all defensive players. We've got to establish a little bit more with them. And Rudy was very much embracing it. He's just like, yeah, it does start with me. I've got to set the tone and I've got to do better at that. And Jaden was kind of like, I guess I got to play better defense. I don't know. And he didn't seem like he was too open to that idea, even though Jamal Murray had scored 43 and Luka had scored a bunch. But I do think that it was Chris Finch asking the most of his best players in those times. And I don't think everything that was happening defensively had been totally on Jaden or just totally on Rudy, but in those moments when you're 27th in the league in defense, it's incumbent upon the very best players to step it up. And so, I do think Jaden has been better, over the last 3 or 4 games here and, against the lesser competition, but better. And so, something has to click in there. And Jaden talked last year about it not really getting off to a good start defensively and not being totally locked in on that end and finding it as the year went on. And because he was sort of slow to do it, I think that he missed out on an all defensive team because of it. So, if that's, again, a priority for him, they just need a little bit more. And we saw a lot of it, in the Brooklyn and Charlotte games, but especially in Brooklyn, he had an amazing block shot. He had, he played really good defense against maybe one of the worst teams I've ever seen assembled. And then he also did it on the offensive end. So he's really becoming right now, right in front of our eyes, a true 2-way player. And that's been the most impressive part about Jaden to start here.
I do think, listen, you can't keep everybody. It's not like you can it's not college sports. Don't even happen in college sports anymore. It's not high school sports where you have somebody until they graduate. They couldn't keep Nikhil on the roster financially. We know that, but they do miss him.
They really do miss him. Yep. And I do think that we knew that they would miss him for sure, but, I think that at least there was hope early on that the Terrence Shannon Jr., Jalen Clark, Rob Dillingham, trio was going to be able to plug that gap a little more effectively than they have to start this. Now, Jalen Clark's been great defensively. Terrence Shannon Jr. is off to a bit of a disappointing start on both ends right now and just trying to find his way. And Rob Dillingham is the point guard and he's going through the ups and downs. He plays well and doesn't play well. But, I think that what they miss most are two things with Nickeil. They miss the screen navigation and the ball on defense. One of Jaden's few faults on defense is he gets screened very easily. And so if he's guarding the lead ball handler, it's a lot easier to get that ball handler free on a screen against him than it was against Nickeil. And I do think like Nikhil's just overall spirit was one that was really effective in kind of helping this team navigate the ups and downs of a season. And so, they do miss him. They need more from Shannon in particular, but also, it would be nice to see Jalen Clark hit some shots and it would be nice to see Rob Dillingham have some consistency. But, I do think that if something has not gone according to plan so far, one of the things is that those three guys have not been able to paper over that loss of Nickeil Alexander-Walker in a more effective way.
Yeah, well said. Let's talk more about the young guys here in a second. First, let's thank Royal Credit Union.
Royal Credit Union's 4.00% APY 12-month certificate has guaranteed returns at maturity and no minimum opening balance for fast and easy opening. Are you saving for college, wedding, retirement, or a large purchase? Reach your savings goals faster and open a 4.00% annual percentage yield 12-month certificate at any Royal office or online at rcu.org/certificate saver. Early withdrawal penalties could reduce earnings and principal. APY accurate as of 9/29/25. Insured by NCUA.
We also want to hear more about Princeton's Liquors.
Princeton's Liquors in Maple Grove. We've been telling you about it for years now, and just another local company we love to be involved with. Bill Princeton, the Princeton family have been in the liquor sales business for decades and decades. They are also they have been just deeply involved in the basketball community here in the Twin Cities with, Bill being a former intern for the Timberwolves Lynx back in the day. And so they are invested in this community. They are invested in us and we want to invest in them as well. If you are looking for anything that you want in the wine, spirits, beer, category, go to Princeton's Liquors, but particularly their specialties are bourbon and craft beer. They just have unbelievable selections of both. The holidays are coming up here. You're going to show up to your parties, not empty handed with some great stuff that's going to turn some heads and bring some holiday cheer. So go to Princeton's Liquors in Maple Grove.
So let's get to the young kids. You know, the easiest thing to do when you're on the outside is say, oh, just play the young kids more. And it just doesn't always work out as smoothly as people would anticipate. Mm-hmm. Shannon has not been quite the same. Clark always brings the defense. He's been uneven offensively. We're still not sure what we're getting in Dillingham, and Berenger is very intriguing, but he's probably not ready yet. Let's start with Dillingham. I think I like the way he passed the ball the last couple of games. I'm still not sure if he knows exactly what he wants to do out there.
Yeah, it's like, I'll give Chris Finch a lot of credit because they played in Charlotte. And Dillingham was just okay in his first shift in the first half, but the second half, we went back to him and he played really well in the third quarter. And it was still a fairly close game, 9 and early in the fourth. And Finch went back to Dillingham in a big spot. Even though I think in other occasions, with the same sort of, time and score, he may have said, you know what, we're just going to go veterans and just win this game. Like, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to prioritize that. But he put Dillingham back out there in a big spot. And that's kind of what you have to do with him. Like, there's going to be games where he is not playing well and you got to stick with him, or there's going to be games where he is playing well and then you got to show some confidence in him. And so, kind of trying to ride that wave a little bit is challenging. And, you can tell right now when he's on the court that he has been coached to really get others involved, to be a point guard. And I do think that is his first, second, and third options, in his mental Rolodex as he's going through the game plan when he's on the court is move the ball, get it to my other guys, do not like force things offensively. And so I almost think that there's a little bit of reluctance right now for him to shoot. He's taken 1 3-pointer this season. I think he's going to have to settle into being more of a threat to score as well, but making sure that he picks the right spots to do it. And man, playing point guard is hard in this league. And so, especially for a good team. And so he is going to have ups and downs. The coaching staff has to stick with him through those, even if you do lose a game here or there, just to get a true evaluation of him. But then there's going to be moments like in the third quarter in Charlotte where he plays really well and they run pick and roll and it pops and he's trying his ass off defensively and trying to do things and get steals and get in the passing lanes. And there are glimmers that you see there, and he just needs more and more time to hopefully turn those glimmers into more fuller picture of who he is as a player. But it's an adventure, man. And it's not going to be an easy one for quite a while here with him.
It's also interesting to see him realizing that if he goes into the paint in the NBA against real teams that know he's coming, he's not just going to get a shot blocked. He's going to get his shot blocked by like armpits. I mean, they are choosing which body part to block the shot with.
Yes, it's that is when he looks smallest, is in those situations. And you can tell that he gets there and he is used to being able to get there and then still do some kind of little bit of fancy English with the ball and finish high off the glass and do whatever he can to mitigate those the size deficiency. But here at the NBA, it's just a lot harder. There's so much more length. There's so much more quickness. There's so much more anticipation. I do think, Jim, that he is creative enough that eventually he will be able to find a few go-to things to get to so that he can finish more at the rim, and he'll be maybe a little more aggressive with it. But right now, he's going there without a real plan, and more often than not, it's not ending well for him. And so trial and error again, 20 years old, he's figuring it all out, but that's been the biggest challenge so far from him because he's so quick. He can get by his guy.
Yes.
On the perimeter, but then when he gets there to the paint, that's where the big trees are, and that's where he's having some trouble.
One more segment to go. I want to talk about a couple point guards, Ja Morant and Ricky Rubio, because his name came up in a recent conversation I had that you might be interested in. Right now, tell us about True Vision Institute.
True Vision in Bloomington, go to chuvision.com, CHUvision.com. Set up your consultation for vision correction surgery for all sorts of different manners of vision correction that they have. They will take you through it. I was talking with one of my friends, Jake Fisher, last night in Brooklyn, and I think this is the first time that he'd really seen me since I had the surgery. And we talked about it, and he just asked, like, how do you like it? And I just said, I love it. And I'm not just saying this because True Vision is a part of this, the Talk North Network. It's really been a life-changing thing for me. And so if you go to chuvision.com, set up your consultation, they will bring you through all the steps. They will ask you all the questions. They will give you all the information you need to find what is right, the right avenue for you. And then once you go through it and get it done, you will be kicking yourself and saying, I should have done this 10 years ago. Go to True Vision in Bloomington, chuvision.com.
And what's going on at Head Flyer Brewing?
Yeah. So, we already had the preseason Head Flyer live show. We are also looking at a show in later December for a second Timberwolves live show, and we'll be able to kind of share some more details as we get all of that into place here with guests, with the exact date, time, and all of those things. But just start looking ahead to late December for another live show at Head Flyer Brewing. And in the meantime, you can go to Head Flyer to watch Wolves parties. They have $5 pints of Wicked jump shot during Wolves games. They also have Vikings watch parties as well. Great TVs, great tap room. So go on in, to Head Flyer Brewing and have some great beers with your friends, watch the games, and have a good time. And we will be back to you with more information about a live show at Head Flyer in late December.
What do you make of the Ja Morant stuff?
It's really interesting, Jim. I mean,
by the way, I'm going to interrupt. I'm an airhead sometimes. We also want to thank Shepherd Goods and Lamb Chops Clothing Line, and Shepherd Goods and Lamb Chops Clothing Line is also sponsoring the Twitter question we'll do at the end of the show. My apologies.
Yes, sglambchops.com is the place to go for casual wear, that streetwear that you want, hoodies, sweatpants, t-shirts, pants, sweaters, all of those things. Go to sglambchops.com and use the promo code JONK20 for 20% off everything you get at Lamb Chops, sglambchops.com.
And we'll do the Twitter question here in a little bit. So tell me about Ja Morant.
Yeah, it has all the makings of a divorce happening right now. You had a 1-game suspension for Ja Morant for conduct detrimental to the team. It seems to be going sideways. His effort on the court has not been there. He does not seem to be on the same page with the head coach. It's something to watch here over the next weeks and months. There will be a million Timberwolves fans who will ask, will the Wolves trade for Ja Morant? As of right now, I don't think so. But, look, if we get to January and the point guard issues are not really resolved and something needs to happen to give this team a jolt, Tim Conley's really aggressive. I would expect that he would look at it at least and just explore it and see if there is something that makes sense. But Morant has been a bit on the decline over the last couple of years as a player. He's had some issues off of the court. He would bring with him plenty of baggage to wherever he would go, and he still has it in Memphis. When he is on the court and healthy, he's usually a very impactful winning player, but there are a lot of concerns about everything surrounding Ja Morant as well. So, yes, I do think that, the Timberwolves would do their due diligence, would look into it, would explore ideas and stuff. I do not think it's likely that anything would happen, but it's certainly just something to keep an eye on as the season unfolds here.
So I was on Craig Kilborn's show the other day. We talked about you a bit. And of course, we talked about Ricky Rubio because he loved watching Ricky Rubio play. And we went back and forth on that a little bit. By the way, what's it like for you having someone who's a celebrity basically, fall in love with you? Because, we're used to, being the people who analyze and follow the celebrities. Craig treats you like you're the celebrity.
Craig is our Ben Stiller with the Knicks, is our, Jack Nicholson with the Lakers. It's great. It's super fun. I grew up a Craig Kilborn fan, watching him on SportsCenter, watching him on The Daily Show, and always knew of his Minnesota ties, but, had no means of crossing paths with him. And, lo and behold, he kind of goes into his, Life Gorgeous podcast realm, and that's where we really started to connect a little bit. And I knew of his Wolves fandom, and but then to learn that he was aware of my work, and I've been on his podcast 6-7 times now probably, and really enjoyed it. But it's nice. I mean, I love interacting with all Wolves fans, but then you get one who has some fame to him that people know from around the country and stuff like that. It's just really cool. So he is super enthusiastic and very, very supportive. And so it's always a great time, sitting down and talking with him. We text all the time, and he's just really passionate about the Wolves. And that's a super fun thing. Yeah.
Where is Berenger in his development and his usage?
Or did you have a Ricky Rubio thing before we?
We went back and forth on Rubio. Where I always thought he was a good player who was a bit overrated by this market. Craig was a big Rubio fan. Mm-hmm. By the end, I will say that I think by the end, Kilborn was going, I loved him. Yeah. And everywhere he went, he got replaced. And I said, I just thought that's who Ricky was. You want Ricky Rubio on your team. And then after you have him for a while, you kind of want somebody a little bit better.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just always the great what if. What if he never got hurt?
Right.
I mean, because even the second time when he was playing great with Cleveland, when he tore his knee up the second time, and so he had won a world championship with Spain, and was really, really just playing wonderful basketball. And then he got hurt again. And so, yeah, I don't know. I have a soft spot for him. I have a blind spot for him. Interestingly enough, we were at the Nets game on Monday night, and a fan a few rows ahead of me in Barclays had a Rubio jersey on. So I took a picture and I texted it to Ricky and said, "Hey, your legacy lives on." So we've been texting a little bit. He's doing well over in Spain, and it's always good to see him. But yeah, to me, it's like, it is truly one of the great what ifs. If he never would have gotten hurt, I think it would have just been a completely different Ricky Rubio experience and a lot more fun and maybe a lot more successful as well.
Will he play another Olympics?
I don't think so. No. I think he's pretty much done. I think he's playing some in Spain a little bit and kind of like finishing out his career there, at home. But, I think he's old enough now and his body's been through enough that I don't think that there's going to be anything more from him. Could he coach? Maybe. Could he, what is he going to do afterward? I'm not sure, but it seems like his high level compete playing days are pretty much behind him.
Let's go ahead and wrap up the show with our Shepherd Goods and Lamb Chops Clothing Twitter question of the week. Yeah,
let me find it here. This one comes from Josh Enke at JP Enke. Out of necessity, the Wolves have gone with some supersized lineups and had some success. How would that lineup stack up against some of the top West teams in the playoffs? It's a good question because Chris Finch closed the game against Brooklyn with a very big lineup: DiVincenzo, Jaden McDaniels, Naz Reid, Julius Randle, and Rudy Gobert. And that's an ultra big lineup. There's not a traditional point guard on the floor. And they played a lot of zone defense with that lineup, which really, really worked because there's so much length to sort of cover up the floor that it really made it difficult on the Brooklyn Nets. You know what also made it difficult on the Brooklyn Nets? The Brooklyn Nets. They're terrible. Yeah. So I will be interested because I do think you are going to see some more experimentation of that, even when Ant comes back. Maybe it's Ant at the one and instead of DiVincenzo, but you're going to see Finch experiment with that because he does want to get Naz Reid some more time at the three and just see what that looks like, both from an offensive and a defensive standpoint. And when you do play a lineup that big, I do think you do play a lot of zone just to kind of mitigate sort of any kind of foot speed issues or whatever with some of the players and individual matchups. So, I think it's something that I want to see happen, to Josh's point, against some of the bigger teams and just see how that looks, because I do think it's a curveball that you can throw every once in a while. Is it something that you can probably get away with for long stretches? I don't know about that. But if that unit can understand the principles of zone and play well defensively, they can be a punishing type of a group offensively. With the way that Jaden McDaniels' game is blossoming, with Julius Randle playing as well as he is, and with them starting to show a little bit of signs of getting Rudy Gobert involved offensively, like that can be a really tough group to stop. And so it is something that I do think that Wolves fans will see more of going forward, because Finch is intrigued by putting Naz Reid at the three and then having all of that skill with Reid, Randle, McDaniels, whether it's Edwards or DiVincenzo, whoever, in that group. So it's a good question for Josh, and we'll just have to see how that all plays out.
So you can also hear Jon on the Viking Update show. You can hear him here at the Jon Krawczynski show. He's part of our Star Pack lineup: Michael Russo, Anthony LaPanta, Roy Smalley, Lavelle Eniel III, Randy Shaver, Kevin Gorg, Alec Lewis, Jeff Diamond, Don Mitchell, Mark Rosen, who had Marnie Gellner on this week on his show. We have just so many good people on the network. We also have outdoor content. Check it all out, please. We do appreciate it. For Jon and for all of our sponsors here at TalkNorth.com and on the Jon Krawczynski Show, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and we will talk to you next week.